Welcome to Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith. Today I'm in the South. I'm filling in for John White, but I also have the privilege of visiting with Las Cruces Master Gardener Valois Pierce, who's going to show us how to plant asparagus. Now here in the South, there's a lot of interesting things to look at, but today it's asparagus. Well, hi Valois.
Hi, Curtis.
Down here in Las Cruces, you're planting asparagus already?
Well, of course. We're in 55 degrees here, and it's beautiful.
It's too early.
You'd be so lucky to live here.
You know, this is something you can plant anywhere in the state, but you really do get a head start down here.
You do. It handles our dry air, our drought, and alkaline soil just fine.
Well, there's another thing people ought to consider. I remember when I was young, I didn't like asparagus, but I only ate asparagus that came out of a can.
Major difference.
And when I tasted some real asparagus, I decided this is good. Fresh asparagus is really good. You can get it at a grower's market, but the really freshest comes out of your own yard. You're going to show us how to do that.
Well, that's right. You'll find asparagus growing wild on ditch banks around New Mexico, but it does even better in your garden where you can have soil.
And we're going to simulate a garden here today
right,
because
we didn't know what the weather was going to be
we're
like.
inside today. But what you do in your garden is dig a trench.
Dig a trench.
How deep?
About 8 inches.
About 8 inches deep. Now you're going to put some compost in the bottom of that trench. This flower pot is our pretend trench today.
That is right. And I'm going to mix it up, and you've dug it, and you've dug it 8 inches. And look at how, I brought this to give you an example. 8 inches is about that deep.
Okay.
Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to choose one that has, you've got the fern.
Good ferns on it.
You've got already a little growth on it.
Good spear forming.
So you've got some nice thick spears here. You're going to see a lot of different kinds. You want to choose a variety that is a male hybrid. Females are good, but male hybrids are more, they don't get the wilt that you will get, fusarium wilt. And I hope I said that right, because John would be really embarrassed if I didn't.
You did a good job.
And they're much more tolerant of other problems that, there's a Mary Washington that doesn't do that well here in the Southwest.
So use the male
hybrids. The male hybrids.
And plant them?
Plant them. And
8 inches deep.
8 inches deep, but don't cover it completely, because what it'll do is it'll just rot.
So you're going to cover it gradually.
Gradually. As
you've laid the roots out horizontally.
I've laid the roots out horizontally, and as it's growing, we'd assume this is a little tiny baby plant, and you'd start to cover it a little. And then it would grow higher, and you'd cover it.
Watch that new spear coming up, and you just kind of go with it.
And then you keep covering it till you reach 8 inches. And then you just keep it. You keep it watered regularly. Think about that its natural habitat is on the slopes of the ditch bank, not in the soggy area, not super dry, and that's kind of what it's liking.
It likes sub-irrigation is what it really likes.
That's what it likes.
The crown wants to be fairly dry, but water on those roots.
Exactly. I put it on the edge of the perennial flower garden because the ferns are beautiful, and it's a nice accent to the flower garden, and then they'll also get some nutrients as you're giving the perennials some food, which we're going to need to go and check out food, and we're going to have to check out chemicals for the critters, because you're going to attract critters.
We'll have to go to a garden store in a few minutes, but I want to ask you a question. If you've got clay soil, what do you do?
Well, then you'll want to amend your clay soil to make it more friable, more compost. Your clay soil,
lots of compost over a large area, and then dig your trench.
And then dig your trench.
I've talked to people who have planted in clay. They dug the trench, put the compost in. Every time they water, it holds water and rots.
It rots them. And
so you've got to do something to prevent that.
It's also going to act just like you've put it in a pot, and you wouldn't put this in a pot.
You wouldn't? Wouldn't you grow an asparagus in a pot?
Not an asparagus.
This is a pretend pot.
No, but this is a edible asparagus. Well, that's an asparagus fern that you grow inside the house.
And this is a potted one. Well, Valois, let's go to the garden store and see what we can find.
That sounds like a good idea. I've double-checked my class notes, and I'm supposed to have a plant food for asparagus of 5-10-5.
So 5 parts nitrogen, 10 parts phosphorus, and 5 parts potassium.
Correct.
And you can't find it.
I can't find it. So I found this one that is a balanced 13-13-13.
Okay, a little more intense, but you can use this, a little bit of this, and also add to it some superphosphate, which will bring up that phosphorus ratio. So here's the superphosphate. You can use that.
And you can go ahead and mix this right in directly with the soil?
Mix that right in the soil around the roots.
Okay.
And that will add the phosphorus that you need. with the other providing the nitrogen, potassium, and some of the phosphorus.
And I just need to make sure that I have a higher range. I'm boosting up the middle number.
Putting just a little of this in is going to bring that middle number up.
What about bone meal?
Okay, bone meal, a lot of people use bone meal to provide phosphorus, but in our alkaline soils, it never releases the phosphorus. It just stays there in the bone. And so it's not good for here unless we've got a very acid soil here, one where we put a lot of compost in, maybe some sulfur and things like that. But the best thing is to go with one of the ones that would have the readily available phosphorus. If you're an organic gardener, you probably want to use colloidal phosphate.
Well, and in southern New Mexico, we have a high alkaline soil. So this
one's just not going to do it.
It's not going to do it.
Not even for your bulbs.
No. Oh, I'm not going to put it on my bulbs.
Well, let's go back now. Let's take these, and we'll go back to the garden.
Okay.
We'll buy it first.
Well, of course. And that'll work just fine. Well, thank you. You going to buy them for me?
We'll see.